Hello, leaders. Welcome to Digital Mandate brought to you by Tech Disruptor Media, a platform where we spotlight visionary leaders who are shaping the future of business and technology. I'm your host, Nisha Sharma, and today we are joined by Mr. Kalyan Chakraborty, VP Technology at GRT Jewelers, a technology leader known for driving enterprise scale cloud adoptions, secure architecture, and breakthrough digital transformations across industries. Thank you, Mr. Kalyan, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Isha, for inviting me.
Yeah. So let's get started. You have held pivotal roles across digital data and transformation domains. So, what guiding principles have shaped your leadership journey through our rapidly changing tech landscapes?
Um, Thank you for that. It's a very important question, right? And it also takes me back on a lot of things. When I look back, I think I've always looked at three core principles that have consistently guided my journey. One is clarity of purpose, customer obsession, and responsible innovation. Firstly, clarity of purpose has always anchored me, right? Whether I was leading big programs for transformation programs, or scaling data platforms, or even embedding AI into business discussions, right? I've always made a point to ask, why are we doing this, right? Because when we ask this question, the purpose brings alignment, and alignment fuels momentum, especially when you are driving change across complex legacy or obsolescence heavy organizations, because the tech debt will drive a lot of conversation. Secondly, I believe in putting the customer at the center of all the conversations, whether it is internal customer, external customer, whoever it is. Now, not just in design, but in decision making. Because I found that the best tech transformations don't start with technology; they start with immersing ourselves into the customer journey. Like when you go to Google Maps, you get a small human. You go and pick the human and place it in the center of wherever street you want to go to, and you're able to go to that street virtually and see what is in and around the street, right? Something like that. Because this principle helped me rethink a lot of the CRM strategies, and have meaningful conversations on product life cycles to be more human and customer centric. Finally, I think in this current scenario of AI, and we are talking about a lot of innovation, a lot of changes, a lot of impact to every business. I think responsible innovation is very is key, right? Because as a principle, in the current landscape of AI and data making most of the decisions easy, the most important thing is to not get trapped or for speed, again compromising on your governance and security. Because if we are not balanced between our ambition and ethics and compliance, um, I think I've spent a lot of time building guardrails in a lot of conversations and saying, okay, great, you're going to do next generation, you're going to build robotic things and whatever we are going to do, but what is the scale to safely and meaningfully grow? That's the question I always ask.
So, my next question is around as organization become more data driven. So, trust is now central to how they operate. So, in your view, how should today's leaders approach trust not just as a compliance goal but as a strategic assets? Are there any practical steps CIOs and CISOs should prioritize?
I think it's a very critical question in today's world, right? I believe this should sit at the heart of any digital or data-driven strategy. In the world today, trust isn't just a value; it's a differentiator. Brands are trying their 200% to earn the trust of their customers, their shareholders, their market, their competitors, their vendors, anyone and everyone, right? If your competitor thinks you're more trustworthy, that means you're doing something right. And that means you should keep that as the most valuable thing than any of the things which you have. because you can lose trust in a matter of seconds, right? And in data-led environments, it becomes an extremely sensitively strategic asset. Why I say that is because um, data driven organizations, you can do adoption engagement for long term success, but from my experience I feel that trust is earned in layers, right? Through transparency, accountability, and relevance. Firstly, transparency is key because customers, regulators, internal stakeholders all want to know how is my data being used, why is it being collected, and what value it creates for them. Because going into the future, the more and more AI centric driven businesses will make hyper personalized decisions for the customers. You will show much more hyper personalized data for every customer who logs into your website or visits your application on the mobile or anything. So that becomes a critically important information, because AI initiatives can fall flat if we can't clearly articulate the value of exchange of data between you and the customer. Secondly, accountability. And this is where governance becomes critical, right? Trust doesn't come from having policies on paper. It doesn't become like the CISO is shouting trust, very importantly, governance, and we are not taking it seriously. So I think that that time we're talking about where governance becomes critical is trust doesn't have the come from the policies on paper. It comes from embedding ethical, compliant, and secure practices into how data is being collected, stored, and activated. Because leaders need to treat data governance as living strategic function, not just a checklist. And finally, relevance, right? People trust systems and platforms that consistently deliver meaningful outcomes. If you're trying to we are talking about generation alpha or generation beta right now. The Gen X, Gen Y, Gen Z, all of them is gone right now. So we are talking about how do we capture their attention proactively, and the attention span is different. Their way of looking at personalized data to be in front of them is different, right? So relevance builds that confidence, and confidence automatically deepens the trust between you and the customer. And so for leaders, the mindset shift is this, right? Don't treat trust as a soft skill or a compliance requirement. Trust is an enabler of innovation, sorry. When people trust your systems, your insights, and your intent, you unlock adoption, loyalty, and ultimately a larger long-term positive impact for you and the organization.
Very well said. So, like, my next question is around how, as enterprises are evolving beyond classic IT modernization. So, what broader shifts do you see defining the next phase of transformation across sectors, whether in hybrid cloud, automations, or business model innovation?
I think to answer this, I have to say the days when digital transformation conversations were happening in the IT industry um, for IT upgrades are behind us, right? We changed from the digital transformation era to AI era very, very fast. Today, the shift is far more holistic, systematic, and purpose driven. Right across industries, I see three major forces shaping the next phase of transformation: intelligent customer centric or intelligent customer centricity, right? Sustainability as a strategy, and trust led AI integration. Firstly, there is a massive move toward intelligent customer centricity, hyper personalization. Companies are realizing that digitization is just not about efficiency, it's about deeply understanding and serving the customer in real time across channels. You might be in the store, you might be in the website, or you might be in their mobile app. The experience of the customer in real time and across the channels with the context is very, very important. That's driving a rethinking of product life cycles, your CRM strategies, and even business models. And it starts with walking the customer journey again, right? I am hooked on, and I'm very, very customer centric guy. And walking the customer journey, not from a process view, but from an empathy lens. because you don't want the customer to stand in your store not able to know where to go, what to do, or what he wants to buy. Right. Secondly, the sustainability is no longer a side initiative. Right. It's becoming core of how organizations operate and compete. Whether it's a supply chains, data centers, or product design, companies are now being measured not just on profits but on their purpose. Yeah. Now the government is also asking for specifically tracking the ESG metrics of every organization, and enabling the green innovation at scale. Right. I see that as a defining lever of both responsibility and relevance in the next 3 years ahead, because uh, the next 2 to 3 years is going to change the way we approach ESG or sustainability. And third, the rise of AI is pushing industries to transform faster. If I am an organization, I want to transform faster. That means I used to be hand tied because I don't have the right set of people sitting in my office or being able to understand what I want to do. If I am intelligently placed and I have an idea, if I have an idea, I can transform faster. And but also responsibly, right? We are moving to an era where AI is just not supporting decisions, but making them too. Right? If you're talking about agentic AI, there are opportunities where the agentic AI might answer on behalf of you. That demands new thinking around governance, explainability, and ethical use of technology like AI.
Is as the digital economy matures, what are the non-negotiables that every organizations must get right over the next 2 to 3 years to stay secure, innovative, and competitive?
I see. The digital economy, I think India is doing a great job there. We are one of the most digitally mature mature countries in the world, right? As the digital economy moves from uh, I think we have moved from experimental phase to expectation right now,
Yes.
because people are expecting not only countries but also organizations are entering an era where incremental change is no longer enough. The next 2 to 3 years will separate those merely adopting technology from those redefining their industries through it. And the pivotal moments will actually demand clarity on five non-negotiables, according to me. Right? Trust as a strategic asset, dynamic relevance at scale, human-centered transformation, and sustainability as core infrastructure. And um, I think more courageous and forward-thinking leadership, because ultimately transformation is not a tech challenge, right? It's a leadership challenge. It demands the courage to challenge status quos, but on long-term value over short-term wins right now, because a lot of the industry is now moving on short-term wins. And to foster cultures where innovation, governance, and purpose coexist, the organizations that will thrive by this will be led by leaders who act with urgency, empathy, and vision. And so, as we step into the next chapter of digital maturity, the question isn't about how digital you are, but deliberately how you lead your team and the organization into the future. Because the future isn't waiting for consensus, right? It's rewarding clarity and conviction, and the market is looking for organizations and leaders like that.
Great, that's it from us. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
Kalyan, for your insights and condor, your journey and